The downfall of Game of Thrones should be a criminal offense. In my last video on Game of Thrones, I covered what made the show special and unique. The sharp dialogue and the interesting political dynamics that drove the plot. But now it's time to take off the gloves, to pull out the magnifying glass and see what happened to one of the best shows of all time. Today, we are looking at the fall of Game of Thrones. But before the true fall, there was the plateau. Season 5 is mid, at best. There is a trend with these later seasons that I believe you can follow. If you are watching a subplot past season 4 and you think to yourself, wow, this is kind of stupid, or boring, or both, there is a 92% chance that it's just some random shit the writers just made up. For example, Jaime goes on a made-up quest in Dorne to bring his daughter back, and the only real purpose of this subplot is filler, because the writers clearly had no idea what to do with Jaime in King's Landing. So he fumbles around for an entire season in Dorne, and Dorne at the end is just like, yeah, sure, I guess she can go with you, and then Marcella just dies anyway. What is the consequences of any of this? There is none. Cersei is like extra sad for half a second, and that's about it. And on top of that, they just wanted Bronn to have these sexual conversations with the Dornish women, where it genuinely feels like the writers just threw their own personal fantasies onto the screen.
You want a good girl, but you need the bad pussy.
Be quenched! Your fantasies can't ever be quenched, can they?
Sansa is sent to Winterfell in Season 5 so she can join Theon in being tortured. And yeah, if Littlefinger is trying to become king of the world and have you as his substitute Catelyn, why on fucking earth would he send you off to a family that killed your family to be married?
A picture of me on the Iron Throne and you by my side.
I don't believe you.
One of the most intelligent, scheming men in the show rubbed two brain cells together and came up with this. So yes, added bullshit. Missandei and Grey Worm for some fucking reason having this stupid half-baked love story. I don't know the sexual complexities of being a eunuch. But one season before, Grey Worm has the embodiment of the Unsullied, and now he sees one titty and becomes a simp. Brienne is just sitting on a fucking hill for the whole season, waiting for a candle. Well, Sansa doesn't go to Winterfell in the books, so I know this shit is made up. And if it's not clear what I meant by added bullshit, let me explain. In my last video, I actually praised some of the adaptation choices the show made, like Arya being paired with Tywin in Season 2. That's not in the books, but it's a great change because it adds character depth and tension without breaking the story. The problem is, the more the show separates from the books, and then eventually runs out of books completely, the more the writers have to rely on their own ability to create interesting plot dynamics, consistent character decisions, and dialogue that actually sounds halfway decent. And the more they have to do that, the more bland, stupid, and boring the show gets. So instead of smart political moves, or consequences, or characters outplaying each other, the writers decide to put all their eggs in one basket. And the one thing to keep people entertained is spectacle. And that usually means dragons, or explosions, or both.
So, back in the day, jingle, 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 back in the day, before the back rooms, jingle, jingle, pay attention, I said your favorite word, with endless impossible, dingle, 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 jingle, jingle, it's okay, look at the shiny.
But like I said, this wasn't the complete and utter ending of an era yet. There are still moments in seasons 5 and 6 that I actually genuinely like. Arya joining the Dark Brotherhood was pretty cool. Cersei taking a walk home was neat. It was kind of on the lamer sides for a season finale, but still iconic.
Shame, 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 shame on you.
And I of course like Jon becoming Lord Commander. I'm human. Seeing my boy get voted President of the Night's Watch was pretty baller. Season 6 rolled around, and I actually think it's an improvement over Season 5. I thought Jon being brought back was handled in good taste. Bran returns, and during his time skip arc, he actually learns how to not be the most boring character in the show. And then he relearned it.
I'm sorry it had to happen here, in our home. It was so beautiful that night, and you were so beautiful, in your white wedding dress.
What the hell was that?
But him being a time god is cool, and all the scenes where he's searching for answers in the past are pretty engaging. Also, the Battle of the Bastards is one of the coolest TV spectacles ever. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and I think it's one of the best medieval battle scenes ever made, film, TV, or otherwise. It is very gripping. I feel like I am Jon suffocating while watching him in the wildling pileup. but narratively it's also very much nonsensical. For how dope the action is, how the veil actually arrives doesn't make any sense. Supercuts Delight makes a great video detailing all the issues with this battle, including the Veil having to go through one of the most fortified Bolton fortresses to get there. They could have took Stannis' old fleet, but it really feels like the writers just forgot about the ships anyway, which I guess explains how Dany forgot about the Iron Fleet too, because the writers definitely can't remember when there's more than 50 ships in a given area.
Dany kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet and Euron's forces.
One of the funnier scenes to me is in the first episode of the season. Sansa and Theon should have froze to death, and the fact they didn't after crossing this icy river is a testament to their plot armor. But then it turns into one of the funniest fucking scenes in the show. Theon gives himself up to save Sansa, but he doesn't sprint or run away. He just jogs 2 feet from where Sansa is hiding. Like, bro, you didn't even try. And how is she found? This dude just walks behind a tree stump. Like, unedited, this clip just looks like a bad theater performance. Tyrion has lost all the qualities that made him great by this point in the show. Season 5 ended with Dany being kidnapped by a dragon, and Tyrion left to help rule Meereen. I think it's fine that he has some hiccups here and there. He absolutely should struggle in a foreign land and have to adapt his methods. But that doesn't really happen. He tries negotiating with the slavers to let them keep their slaves. For 7 years, mind you. Bro, who the fuck told you that was going to work? Dany sure as hell would never agree to that. But whatever. The slavers backstab him, crime happens to Meereen, and yeah, other bad shit. But how does Tyrion save the day? How does he scheme a way to victory and outsmart everyone? He doesn't. The problem is solved by dragons and brute force and more dragons.
Jingle, jingle, pay attention. Pay attention, I said your favorite word.
Watching this later era Tyrion, someone said that he reminds them of a guy who just hangs around after college, quoting philosophy and trying to seem smart.
A wise man once said, "The true history of the world is a history of great conversations in elegant rooms."
Who said this?
Me, just now.
My dude has lost all of his aura, and on a superficial level, I also just don't like him with the beard as much. In fact, I prefer how all the characters look in the earlier seasons. The Lannisters are supposed to be blonde-haired, but by the end of the show, they all look like this. I mean, a fucking war was started over this hair color in season 1. You could at least try to keep up with it for the last few episodes. But on to more serious issues. Like I said, the Dark Brotherhood plotline is cool, but the Faceless Men kind of lose their mystery for me here in season 6. Arya goes blind, then learns how to fight blind, and then she decides she wants to go back to Westeros, so the Dark Brotherhood tries to kill her. And when this mysterious organization that hides in the shadows is just chasing people through the streets, knocking over carts and civilians, they kind of lose their luster.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
They never use any fucking faces. At all. This chick doesn't, Arya doesn't. Isn't that your whole fucking shtick? Arya wears like 2 faces in season 7, and then never again for the rest of the show. What was the fucking point in giving her this cool ass power if we never actually see her use it? It's like having a shapeshifter in Star Wars who's on the run, but never fucking shapeshifts. What's the point of being a changeling, bitch? And finally, I don't like Cersei blowing up the city. There is so much time spent on Marjorie and Cersei, the High Septon nonsense, people manipulating Tommen, all this political maneuvering just for little orphan Annie to commit acts of domestic terrorism.
It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life.
Did you really need some fucking kid to lure Maester Pycelle down here to get murked? This has to be one of the most inefficient assassinations ever. Like, just have the mountain bop him on the head and call it a day. Also, speaking of these damn kids, was it really part of your master plan to have this little fucker lure the High Septon's main enforcer to the one place where he can mess up everything? You're really putting the entire weight of your plan on a 6-year-old not getting bitch slapped and the Septon guy blowing out a candle? He comes within fingertips of stopping this whole thing. But yeah, despite all of that, the spectacle is still cool looking. I hate that we basically delete the entire Tyrell plotline and anything interesting happening in King's Landing. But for the 10-minute opener, it was pretty sick. But now it's time. Ring the bells of surrender, put the kids away. It's time to talk about how Game of Thrones broke my heart. Part 3, The Fall. Season 7 honestly started off in the worst way possible by doing something really cool and getting my hopes up. Fucking Arya.
When people ask you what happened here, tell them the North remembers. Tell them winter came for House Frey.
She murders all the Freys in a really dope cold open to the season. I don't necessarily know if Arya never going past revenge and becoming an assassin was the best lane for her character, but I like John Wick as much as the next guy, so if this was the worst thing to happen to her, then I'd be alright. Of course, like I said earlier, this is the last time she uses her dope-ass power though. In part 1, I said there are 2 characters who get the worst assassination of anyone. So, starting with Jaime. Cersei napalms King's Landing in the season 6 finale, and her husband is historically not a fan of that type of thing. You know, the guy who kind of ruined his entire reputation to prevent the previous king from doing that? A greatly misunderstood character, and he never fucking says anything about this. Doesn't even seem to care.
And stand by while thousands of men, women, and children burn to life. Would you have done it?
To be honest, I never really cared much for them, innocent or otherwise.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
I really thought Jaime was going to be the one to kill Cersei, or at least leave her after something like this, but instead he just ping-pongs around the world, making as little impact on the plot as possible, while still technically existing in the show. Basically, all he does is make Tyrion look stupid. Which brings me to Tyrion Clownister. He's got the character arc of a silly goose and doesn't know how to make a single competent decision for the rest of the show. I have absolutely no fucking idea why Dany made him her hand. This is the guy who used to outsmart entire rooms with a sentence, and now every plan he has just fails or is undercut by the opposing side's victory. In the season 7 finale, he tries to convince Cersei to help with the White Walkers. Someone who couldn't convince his sister to pass him salt at dinner thinks he can get her to fight in a war with him. And then in season 8, for some reason, they throw him in the crypt during the Battle of Winterfell. What was the Night King's one power again? Oh yeah, he raises people from the dead.
Women and children in a crypt with all the dead people. So, brah. Tyrion is smart, but I guess not that smart.
I don't know, guys. Somebody on the internet once said you can't write a character who is smarter than you are, and yeah, that tracks. I now have a few smaller nitpicks here that I don't think are as monumental as destroying multiple seasons and hours of character work, but they do demonstrate some of the more blatantly dumb points in the show, and it's also the writers constantly telling us to suspend our disbelief. Nitpick number 1, the Iron Fleet. You really expect me to believe the biggest CGI fleet in the world was built on a rock island with no fucking trees in like 6 weeks? There wasn't some 3-year-long time skip between the finale of season 6 and the premiere of season 7. They go from having no ships to the Spanish Armada overnight. Nitpick number 2, fast travel. It took Jaime a season and a half to travel a quarter of the continent, but now we got Jon traveling from Winterfell to Dragonstone, back to the Wall, then to King's Landing, then to Winterfell again, all in one season. Bran traveled like 50 miles over the course of the entire show, but Jon unlocked the ability to warp space-time off-screen. Nitpick number 3, the plot armor goes insane. It really didn't feel like these people escaped hopeless situations nearly as often in the early seasons, mostly because characters weren't ridden into holes they couldn't logically climb out of. Now every fucking episode someone gets saved at the last second. Jon's surrounded by an army, dragons save him. Jon's stranded, freezing to death, surrounded by the undead. Uncle Benjen saves him. A quick little pause here from plot armor to talk about nitpick 3.5. Fucking Uncle Benjen.
Come with me. There's no time.
There's no time? You had so much time. He shows up, kills 2 zombies, and then goes out like a fucking chump. This makes me irrationally mad because it's the laziest possible writing. They just didn't want to deal with Uncle Benjen anymore, so they killed him off in 30 seconds and called it a day. What the fuck was this D&D? The Battle of the Bastards is also full of plot armor as well, and Dany later on can dive bomb at the entire Euron Greyjoy fleet without a scratch. And also, whatever the fuck Samwell Tarly is doing in this scene. This is what I'm talking about. Nitpick number 4, Ed Sheeran.
It's a pretty song. I've never heard it before.
It's a new one.
Nitpick number 5, fan service. The Clegane Bowl is stupid. The Hound comes back to life to fight his brother, and that's dumb. Don't write your scripts based on Reddit threads. That's my job. Also, the Gendry still rowing joke pisses me off.
Wasn't sure I'd find you. Thought you might still be rowing.
It was an inside joke, you dumb fucks. You don't need to wink at the camera. This isn't a Marvel movie, no matter how much you try to have Davos quip like he's written in a Joss Whedon fanfiction. And now I'm gonna take a break from shitting on the show and name a couple more things that I think are actually still good. Season 7 still looks fine. The fights are fine, the effects are solid, which is more than I could say for Season 8, where the climactic White Walker battle looks like it was lit by the Alien vs. Predator Requiem team. It's dark as fuck in that battle and you can't tell what the hell's happening. But anyway, I gotta stop myself or I'll just keep ranting about dumb shit. The montage with Sam at the Citadel was genuinely a good piece of filmmaking. The acting is always still good, even if the characters don't have anything good to say. But that's really it. There's no more good things. Finally, moving on to Season 8, or as I like to call it, Season Hate. Where do you even start? I've got an entire page next to me of stuff that pisses me off, and I could do another 10 minutes of nitpicks alone, but I'll stop and I'll just focus on the big ticket items. Beginning with, why is Jon Snow a Targaryen? What does it actually matter? It causes tension between him and Dany, and that's really it. George talked in an interview about writing a mystery where the butler is the killer, and if someone guesses it early on, you don't just change the ending, you stick the landing.
You know, if you've planned your book that the butler did it, and you suddenly change in midstream and it was the chambermaid who did it, then you screw up the whole book.
Jon is the hero of this story, the downtrodden bastard who rises up. That's the point. So why did Arya kill the Night King? There's no prince that was promised, no Azor Ahai, no big hero moment. Subverting expectation is cool, but this really feel like they picked Arya because they didn't want to pick Jon.
We hope to kind of avoid the expected, and Jon Snow has always been the hero, the one who's been the savior, but it just didn't seem right to us for this moment.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
And I also would have been fine with Dany being the hero, but one of those two. Then there's the battle itself. This massive, multi-season build-up for the worst shot, worst lit, thematically flat fight in the show. It starts as World War Z chaos, and then suddenly zombies are tiptoeing through Winterfell like it's Scooby-Doo. And Bran. Bran uses his godlike powers once to fly some fucking birds. That's it. We don't even see what the birds do. I thought he was gonna time warp the past or mind battle the Night King or do literally anything interesting. Nope, he just sits there and vibes. And does the other big climax of the season do any better? No, not really. It's lit better, sure, but my eyes still hated what they were seeing. Dany becomes a mass murderer because two bad things happen to her. Her dragon dies, and her friend dies. Time to burn children alive. There is zero logical buildup for that. You don't go from the breaker of chains to genocide speedrun in 30 minutes. And then Cersei and Jaime. After 8 seasons of their buildup, they die from falling rocks. Rubble. How creative. The worst part of these later seasons isn't even just how bad the writing is. It's how lonely you feel when you watch the show. This show used to be full of character moments and conversations, politics and tension. By the end, it just feels like I'm watching a memory of something I used to love. Like a bad cosplay of characters I cared about. A bad movie ending stings, a bad show hurts, because you've invested years, hours, and time you just don't get back. So why did this happen? Did the writers just give up? Well, apparently they had a Star Wars project lined up, and they were already looking ahead a little bit. Shortened the seasons, rushed everything, and just trying to finish and move on. And then after the season bombed, they lost the Star Wars project anyway, which is kind of poetic. I think early on they were motivated. They had books, they had structure, they made smart adaptation choices. But once they ran out of the source material, they had to actually write. And instead of sharp dialogue and political chess matches, we got explosions, dragons, and spectacle. Which works for a little bit, until it doesn't. So yeah, that's the fall of Game of Thrones. Hopefully this video provided some sort of cathartic experience to laugh at the pain of the final seasons. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.